I have mixed salad, then gorge on fish when I'm around 76. Yeah, rough time. I do basically the same thing. When I want to lose weight, I eat salad. When I want to gain weight, I eat fish. Deniner says you can get fat very easy from potatoes, so it's different in real life. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to a bunch of the nutrition and food stuff, you have to just like suspend belief of what real life is. Because in this game, I can take a 3 kilogram bag of rice, and I can eat pretty much the entire thing and still be hungry. Uh, Anyone who's thinking about the sheer volume, and that's not the cooked rice, that is the dried, you haven't prepared it rice. So you can just imagine how much rice that makes when you cook it. And you can sit there and just shovel that all into your mouth in one sitting and not be like, and still be peckish. So yeah, you gotta adjust your belief of what to expect from some things of the food. Some of the things that they food and they make choices. That's just like what. I mean, she may have had a nightmare sleeping on a bed of swords, but it's the swords that gave her comfort. Like, I probably shouldn't be going out. That's fine. You hit the point where you're like, no, really, I don't want to stay cooped up, stuck at the house anymore. I want to, like, the point is to kill all the zombies. Being stuck at home for 3 days is not zombie killing. Alright, so we got all that, we got all that, we're good here. I've got water. I got like 10 potatoes, a bunch of other stuff on us, so we're good. I mean, I could probably find a TV pretty easily. I just go into one of these back houses and look for a nice TV. I don't particularly have need for a TV, honestly. Like, I haven't found the skill VHSs yet, because that is the one thing when we're doing these ridiculously high pop runs. We miss a lot of stuff. Because I don't go into every individual home and kill the zombies. I make a bunch of noise, make the zombies come out to me. I don't bother going inside. Like this radio is doing double duty for me. On one side, I keep this radio on, and it's at its absolute full blast. And the first reason I do that is that way, if the helicopter shows up, because I have air activity detected, I'll see a message here that says air activity detected, and it can give me a little bit of a heads up that's like, oh, it's time to change plans and deal with the helicopter. It also can like warn me when it flips over for like weather and stuff, but I also keep it up because I have it at absolutely max volume as a means of drawing zombies to me. Because the goal is to kill them all. I don't want to go skulking through the trees where they're scary. I'd rather than walk out nice and right out into the open on the road. Yeah, Goldie is, what matters? You survive long enough that your skills are just maxing out on time. Maxing out of time. Yeah, that's the thing, like carpentry, we never got, like, I don't think we caught any television shows this run. I don't remember if we did, it's just like 1 or 2. No, I don't think we did. Because these runs, I can't sit there for the whole first week and just watch the shows. I have to keep pushing as hard as I can to get into one of the towns because of the population. Because otherwise I'll end up in a situation where I don't have food or water or whatever, and I can't get it in time. So it is 100% these runs, you just meat grind to the zombies till you can get into town as much as possible. And like even then, I had to drop back a couple of times to hit like distant farms and all that to just grab some stuff and run. Because the meat grinder took so long. It took us this road we're riding on. Actually here, I'll just go like this. So you saw the little distance we were going on that road. Just from down here, this ice cream parlor here, clearing up this one road to this house. So you see just this one little road. was 8 to 9,000 zombie kills and like I think almost 2 months in game. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, you play with the instant turn off? Yeah, I've done a lot of times where we have, like, I've had some times where I didn't set instant turn off, but we got instant turn off. I've had the power or the water turned off day 0 on me. I think it's like 4 or 5 times now on stream. But I've done like the really CDDA and all that where the power and water's just turned off. There's a couple challenges where, like the cryogenic winter, where you start with just the power and water turned off. And I do think this will probably be our last in-game day. As much as I'm sitting here going, I really want to try and push on stream as long as I can to, you know, basically, honestly, take the most advantage I can of having everyone here. Because, like I said, I have been trying to like make the push for partner, that kind of thing, which is an average viewer thing. So anytime I got the viewers, it's like extra, like, no, I really want to try and make the stream last, kind of thing. But at the same time, it be getting late. And while I'm not super tired yet, I know I'm probably not far from it. He's aiming for 69,420. I mean, we will pass 69,420. Goalie says, I like how the game makes you get the hardest yet manageable customization. Yep. Yeah, so when I do wrap up stream, I will go and find someone for us to raid. Also playing Project Zomboid, probably chill stream. Usually when I stay up late, I get plenty of options of people I know are solid people to raid. There's also times that I'll find people who are brand new and will make their day by just taking something, you know, sitting at only like 6 or 10 or so, you know, viewers that's actually got decent challenges, dropping a bunch of people on them. You know, just blowing up their channel. Oh hey, breaks that don't suck. That's been a while. Hey, lady. Oh, another thing for new players, do not underestimate the power of tailoring. Tailoring is one of the low-key most useful and powerful abilities in the game. Because you can go to any piece of clothing. If you remember, for example, this long sleeve shirt, without tailoring, all of those slots have 0 defense on them. Every single spot has 20% scratch resistance and 10% bullet and bite resistance. So I'm wearing just like a cotton shirt with a bunch of leather straps put on it to make it like actually some really solid equipment for defense. And you can stack that stuff. So if we look at the protection on my character, like right now I'm not even wearing all my layers. I'm not even wearing a jacket at the moment. Without even wearing a jacket, I'm at 100% on several parts, and I'm almost at 100% armor. If I toss on my army jacket, all but like 5 or 6 spots will be 100% scratch resistant, where if I would take a scratch, instead, I'll just take, you know, like I'll just have my clothes ripped a little. I'm actually going to toss it on just to show you. Yeah, so you see when I'm wearing my jacket, like, we are super decked on our defense. Unfortunately, it's just too hot right now for me to wear it. And that goes even to the point on bites that most of your body is near 100%, like, you've got about half the areas that are about 100% defense. And that's with tailoring at 10. So yeah, tailoring is super powerful. That said, it's super tedious to level, as a forewarning. You level it by ripping up clothes, and then putting patches on. Thank you to follow, Z Savage Cabbage. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, you'll notice, like, people talked about, it's like, oh, you know, I always had problems hitting trees and stuff at 90. Um, I take my time going everywhere. I always take a slow and methodical approach to it. It's one mistake away from death, so you know, reduce your odds of taking mistakes. So one thing that a lot of people don't realize is there's cruise control in this game. So if you use Shift W and Shift S, Shift W will increment your speed 5 miles per hour faster and turn on your cruise control, and then Shift S will increment that speed down 5 miles per hour, and then if you tap the brakes, it turns it off. You'll find I basically do not drive without cruise control. Like, that is just not a thing I do. Like, once in a while I'll kick out of cruise control just when I'm maneuvering around a pack of zombies that I'm worried about them getting in my way kind of thing. Maybe I, like, you know, maneuver through the pack in the middle. Otherwise, you'll see me almost never drive without cruise control. That's just entirely it. Like, I've had characters where we slapped into a tree at speed, and then he got hurt real bad. That's a really not fun way of ending a run that, you know, we get a year in, and I have that one moment where I just get a little bit of a lead gas pedal, and suddenly we're wrapped around a tree and the run's over. Scaff said, 5 minutes after my very first vehicle, I drove 90 miles per hour down a country lane. Yep. Goldero says, trees are OP for players and zombies. Yup. Trees never surrender. That's right. We had a couple times where we had a bunch of zombies that are just out on this road last we heard. Now, granted, it's been a couple days since then. I did not want back in that tree. Trees are scary. And that's just migrations and all that. We do go out our way to clear the zombies each time we pass through. Goldero says, it's crazy that zombies sometimes so wise, just chilling in the corner for no reason. I've had more than one time where people have come into the channel and it's like, okay, I've been like living in this house for like multiple days, like coming and going and doing all that stuff, and then just realize there's this one corner of the house where there's this zombie just in my house with me this whole time. Just, you know, we never entered line of sight each other because they're in this like little corner cubby that, you know, I never bothered going to. You know, apparently I wasn't making much noise because the zombie never felt the need to come out and come after me. Yeah, we were just like living together in this house. Like, I've certainly had times where it's like I've cleared an area and I know I've cleared it, and I definitely know like it wasn't a respawn kind of thing. That you're just like, zombie shows up this time, remember, like, where'd you come from? You're very clearly they were just in there somewhere. You just didn't see. Lagodir says, I think that where clumsy trait will help, because you make too much noise just by walking. Yeah. Well, like, that's one of the ones we were joking about, is for like a run like this where I kept getting light-footed from when we were doing our foraging. I was actually like, you know, honestly, I don't want the light-footed trait. I like want the opposite light-footed trait. Because, like, I don't want the zombies to not hear me. And like my approaches to houses is I go up to the door and I start rattling the door a whole bunch to, you know, get as many zombies as I can, like, all riled up. Because they very definitely want them to hear me and come out to me and not me have to go into them. And same with the car. We drive around running sirens and honking horns and just generally being loud. Like, I even have a better muffler for this car that I could put it on to make it quieter. But I very specifically don't actually want a better muffler on the car because I want it to be loud. It can be inconvenient and sometimes it can get us in trouble because the car gets overwhelmed by zombies and I have to, you know, have to walk home or whatever. But the idea is then I just drive in the middle of town, the zombies all collapse in on my car, I kill all the zombies that show up, rinse and repeat. Yeah, this is all just migrations. Probably like, I'm guessing the helicopter flew over this direction when it headed up to Ekron. So it pulled a bunch of the zombies kind of just up the road. Goldiro saying, yeah, situation is kind of busted. Like, you need to be silent sometimes early game, and now it's just like noisy late game. Yeah. I kind of wish they would change sneakers and like combat boots and all that, because like the run speed to me as a penalty is irrelevant. Because, I mean, you've seen how often I run. So having a 5% reduction to the thing I never do, who cares? I think I'd probably want, like, the big military boots to be noisier, and then, like, sneakers and that kind of stuff to be quieter. You know, because you're clomping around in these big, like, steel-toe boot-type shoes and all that, versus a pair of, like, tennis shoes or whatever. When you're sneaking, you're going to be a lot quieter in a pair of tennis shoes than you are going to be in some steel-toe boots. Oh, there's another one of you. And I almost always will take the time to kill the zombies on the road when we're in decent shape to do so. Because just by driving up and down the road, what usually will happen is they'll hear you pass, which makes a bunch of noise. And that ultimately will draw the zombies into the middle of the road, and then you'll be going by later at like 50 miles per hour, and there'll be this horde of zombies in the middle of the road, and just barely avoid slamming into them at speed. But if I keep killing them off the edges, it doesn't happen nearly as much. Plus, we're not trying to kill all the zombies. If we don't kill the zombies, then we're not killing all the zombies. Indian says, it's simple logic, really. If the zombie's not dead, we haven't killed it. Oh yeah, Goldero, that's one of the things, like, we were talking, like, earlier during the stream, it says you're averaging something like 120 zombie kills a day, or whatever it was. Like, I don't remember the exact figure. But it's like, okay, that's low, and, you know, if you do the math and you try and go, okay, well, based on our population, like, how many days did that take? You know, and the idea is it's an absolutely ludicrous number. Now, the thing is, like, between today's stream and yesterday's stream, we've killed over 10,000 zombies. Zero skill LPP? No, I still have a muffler in it. It's a crappy muffler. But yeah, I haven't removed it for all the noise quite yet. I probably should, though. Like, in all honesty, I probably just should remove the muffler. Some of these zombies are gonna get killed in the road because I'm not gonna get all up in those trees just to not kill zombies in the road. I'd rather have to move around some corpses than get grabbed through a tree without a chance to react. Yeah, Lulu was saying, if I remember correctly, it was 160 per day, which would have been about 7,500 to clear all of the map if the population is in fact 1.2 million. Right. And it's kind of those things like, yeah, so on average that is what we're pulling, but that's also taking consideration like the first 2+ months we basically were completely incapable of killing any zombies on a real amount. Let's see. Zero Skill says, we spitballed the numbers, and it's like 66 tiles of the noisiest vanilla car. More if going in reverse with Speed Demon. Yep. Good. Telegram says 56,000 dead. Nice. I started a while ago at 16x pop at the lake north of West Point. Yeah, we're actually at 60,000 at this point. We killed a few. Got some zombies rid of during the stream, so yeah. 16x pop north of West Point. That's a toughie. Yeah, because it's days like these that we actually, like, so when we have bad weather that we can't kill zombies at all, those are the worst. But there's these days where we run out and we're like, oh, kill like 10 zombies there, kill like 5 zombies here, like trying to get to our next destination. Those are the 2 days that we have like the least zombie kills because we're just spending all of our time, you know, commuting or laying low for bad weather. But once we get like in town and we just start smashing zombies, you know, we end up killing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of zombies a day. Telegram says, I am 2.5 kilometer or 2.5k at the moment. Time to start setting up a base on the south to reach West Point. My closest is north of the graveyard at the moment. Gotcha. Just gonna sneak right past these and then turn around and kill them. There we go, there's a proper horde. Okay. This guy says, currently putting 350 weight worth of loot in my base. Yeah. And it's funny, like once upon a time I would always joke that the trait that makes you loot slower was free points. Like that's just like, yeah, it's whatever. You just have to be patient. Nowadays I run dexterous because I cannot take the time to spend that often, like to do that much loot. Oh my god, it takes just so long. El Goldiro says, well, I have a base and 3 safe houses because heli sometimes. Yep. I actually, for this run, I like to use the heli strategically when I get the opportunity. Like this last heli I had, I was just really not in a place I could put it to good use, unfortunately. I was in the middle of Ekron. But, like, I would like down here if the heli shows up. I'd just stand in the middle of town, use the draw and all the zombies to just kill as many as we can without having to go anywhere. Oh, I should just kill them. Halfway through this fight, I'm probably going to switch to my hunting knives. Imagine not have to need it hardly at all. Mostly because we're killing some zombies and getting the car and sitting down for a while. Gadiro saying, I died once. Heli went from like 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pitch black night. I was so triggered, tired, no flashlight, and cat's eye. Got traumatized, man. Oh yeah, we had so like early on we have to retreat from most of the helicopters, but once you get established that doesn't happen very often. But we did have 2 that, like out of like the last 10 helicopters, we did have 2 that we retreated from. One was kind of that exact same thing where it's just the helicopter showed up super freaking late in the evening, and it was just like, okay, what the hell am I supposed to do with it? I can't see anything. Like, my character has cat's eyes, but I do keep my settings low enough that it's still pitch black some nights. Oh, vitamins. I do actually want vitamins. Because sometimes things go not as planned and you're just off balance. You're like, alright, well, I get some vitamins for skipping sleep tonight. Let's see. Telegram says, obese is such a bad trait to lose 1 month, 96 weight, and I gained 3 fitness from 0. Yeah, no, it's, between, like, obese and very underweight, like, very underweight, you can gain weight way faster than you can lose it. Now, I would say it's easier to lose weight than gain weight. It's just slower. It's like, generally, to lose weight, you know, just don't eat tons of cereal or whatever, and you will lose weight. You can just use, like, plants and such, which means you can just, like, forage or farm or whatever. But yeah. The time it takes is significantly worse for losing weight. Aguero says, yeah, man. That's when I make, like, 2 safe houses ASAP from the countryside. Safety survival. Do I ever feel compelled to use beta blockers? Way early run, we eat lots of beta blockers. But by the time he hits, I can't remember if it's 120 or 180 days, your character does sort of, like, build up a, not tolerance. It takes way more to, like, not just to get them panic, but they recover from panic way better. To the point that I'll actually sit there and, my character will go to extreme panic when I'm looking at, 200 zombies or whatever in front of me. And in the time it takes me to say, like, I'm fighting, the time it takes to go up, need to back off. Okay. Like, we'll have already recovered from our panic. So, later game beta blockers become far less meaningful. Like, you still see I'm carrying a bunch with me. Now, the caveat is if I'm shooting guns. Because if you're shooting guns and you have any kind of panic, it's rough. It's really terrible. So if I know I'm going to go shooting guns, I'll pop a beta blocker, break out the guns, and do it. Yeah, Mort says, think of it this way, there's a weight gain modifier, there isn't a weight loss modifier. Yep. And that's like one things you'll have people pop into channel, and most of the time they'll be like, oh no, like, very underweight is objectively better than obese. I'm like, okay, you're playing the really CDDA, extreme layer route, you're in the middle of winter. Okay, now tell me which one's better. It's like, oh, right, I'm not going to have much food. It's like, yeah, it's situational. Like, I do appreciate that there's very few things in the game that are like, no, this is objectively better in any and all circumstances. Like, no, there's situations. The weapons are the same thing. There's definitely places each weapon has that shines. Hey, you. I also very much appreciate the people who come in, they see my build, and they try and, like, min-max me and go, it's like, they'll be like, oh, I think that trait you're taking is a terrible trait, like, that's a waste of points, do all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's a bad build. And I kind of go, wait, what? It's like, yeah, it's a bad build. And you're just like, oh, okay. Like, they're ready to have, like, this big, like, passionate argument about what traits are good and bad, and you're just like, yeah, no, it's a bad build. And they're just kind of like, oh, like, that's just it? Yeah. No, it's planned. Yep, and you'll notice that I used the, where you can stand a zombie there. We knocked down the one, it was the last two, so I stood on the one that was down, killed the other one that wasn't down. Because I made it easy peasy. It was effectively like fighting 2 separate zombies, 1-on-1 back-to-back, as opposed to 2-on-1. Alright, so this building isn't safe necessarily, so let's be careful. I hate these stairs. Like, I don't like staying at this gas station. Because, like, if there's a zombie right here, and you're coming up the stairs and the zombie sees you, it can just chuck itself over the rail and get you. Togram says, I realized my boot broke because I stomped too much zombies, and I realized I stomped his head with the sock on. Yeah, I actually have, there's a clip somewhere where I had stomped on a zombie, like I had just broken the window in a place, cleared the glass, a zombie came to the window, so I stomped on the zombie, jumped through the window, not realizing my boot broke when I had stomped on that zombie, so I jumped through onto the broken glass I had just made, and deep wounded both my feet. It was an experience. I was very, very confused in the moment, because I'm like, but I removed the glass. Why do I have these deep wounds? I removed the glass, like right-clicking on the window, looking for the glass, going, I've removed the glass. It's not here. You know, before it took him, I was like, oh wait, those are my feet that are bleeding, not my hands. Wait a second. Realized my boots were destroyed. You know, quickly tossed on the sneakers on the zombie that I had just killed and waddled back to the nearest other house that wasn't the one we were in the process of trying to get into and kill the zombies. Stitched ourselves up and all that. It was a whole thing. Oh, the Rosewoods gas station is your favorite base? My only reservation with this gas station is that staircase. That staircase terrifies me. Because you got that corner, you got the front and the back door there. Like, you're kind of going from a Y you can't, or a T you can't see in, into a T you can't see in, and then there's the jump down spot. Like, there is so many corners in that one little spot right here to just get you. Like, if it wasn't for that one spot, I would be good. Oh yeah, and I didn't have like the suturing stuff at all at the time. So we could just toss bandages on it and not actually heal ourselves properly. Like we survived that. Like we died on that character way later, but